Hello and welcome everybody. This is Zero to Hero Season 3, Week 2. We got our overlays this week, and I have OSU underscore Bez with me from Scotland. How are you doing?
I'm alright, man. How are we?
I'm alright. Kind of woke up not too long ago. Um, it's nice that we could get our time good on the weekends, so it's reasonable for both of us. Anyway,
Yeah, dude.
so this week, per your request, I wanted to do some community building topics and talk about practice regimen. Since because you're still a newer fox, this is probably one of the most important things for you because tech skill is one of the most important skills that fox needs compared to other characters. Now, how has it been going ever since last time we met about 3 weeks ago?
As far as practice, I'm noticing massive changes on a daily basis. Everything's getting more comfortable for me. I'm not seeing any change like tournament wise. I'm still dossing about like an idiot, but in friendlies, it's made a massive change to how I play and how comfortable I am playing.
That's awesome. Eventually it starts clicking, and it's hard because like every little mistake, especially from Fox, can get punished really hard. But like I think eventually, as you improve your movement, um, you will eventually see like big gains. But it'll take a little bit of time before you get over that hump. So we're going to talk about community building because that's something that we wanted to do. Um, so I like to say that every community has about five has different stakeholders and different people that are all important in building the community. So you see the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah,
So you need all these for a growing community. Like if one of these points are lacking in some way, or like one of them is not as good, then the community kind of suffers as a result. And so what I suggest, just from a communal standpoint, is that all five need to realize that they are important to contributing towards the well-being of the other four corners.
hmm
And what I mean by that is, like if you're a top player, you want to teach others and be welcoming, because for new
yeah,
players, they love the top players from their region. If they're assholes, then they're not going to come back because they're like, oh, these are the people that people look up to. They should be teaching the mid-level players, and I'll explain why. Because mid-level players will eventually, grow bigger, and what will happen is, they will push the top players to get even better. Top players also help the tournament organizers and streamers, so they need to, be accommodating to them to help the tournament run. If we look at the streamer, they're important because they promote others. They grow the scene, and a really well done, consistent stream encourages new people to come in, and it in turn benefits everybody. Um, Also, the streamer, records matches, and that's really important too. Mid-level players, I view these because they're like the large portion of the community to be the backbone. They push the top players to get even better. They teach newer players, and they get people comfortable. And because mid-level players are just like a shot above the newer players, and so like they give the newer players a little bit more ability to grow by just playing. Tournament organizers, of course, they need to make an awesome experience. They need to encourage top players to keep coming back. And if they alienate any of the players or the streamers, then the prize pots are smaller, less people come, and we don't want that. And so the one thing I'm not sure, I mean, I noticed that on Reddit that you guys have Facebook groups. Is that correct?
yeah. That's right.
Yeah. How active is that?
Regular usage. It's the best way to put it is it's spread across different groups. There is specifically one group that is Smash Scotland, but we're also in Smash UK, and on top of that, we're on Smash Europe. So it's not, but there's different tiers of information sharing.
I see. Do you guys have a calendar of your upcoming events?
Yeah, most, if not all, events in Scotland are within the Facebook group itself and shared throughout those.
And how active are the people there? Like from like the top level players to new players. Like how active are people in that Facebook group?
Uh, to take it broadly, an example is like within the Scottish Smash page, there's around 500 tournaments will regularly see 50 of that, maybe. It depends on locale, where there's a central tournament. We'll normally see all top 20 players easily.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, there's no absence within our top players.
Wow.
With mid-level players, there's always going to be a few that don't turn up, but 9 out of 10, it's active, but it's not static.
Got it. Do you guys have like a power rankings just for funsies?
We're making one. We've got the next 2 tournaments being Osu, Scotland, and Hype Spot in 5. After that, that's when our PR will be made.
Got it. So I think that encourages people because they're like now like a lot more people who are just outside the power rankings kind of have a goal to move up. And so the power rankings, as trivial as they are, they actually help encourage like people to get better. So it's always a good idea. And then how connected socially are the people? Do they hang out? Do they run their own Smash Fest at people's houses, or is that something that's not culturally normal for Scotland?
It's more the norm here than for anywhere else, I'd say. Like, every week we'll have people over to someone's house. Smash Fests are more regular than tournaments.
Okay, that's really good because that's your core, and if that's not there, and like if people aren't hanging out and building community, like even like if you're a small group, then it becomes just worse as the group gets larger. So having that core values of like everybody getting along is actually really important to community growth. So that's like really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Discord's a growing thing, but people are starting to trend towards it, so that's also another idea. But pretty much you want to make it as easily accessible, and I think you guys are doing a pretty good job at making sure that at the very least that you guys are present on different social media avenues. So like if I'm on Google, I need to be able to type in Scotland Melee and be able to find something quickly. So I think you guys are doing a great job. How are people hearing about new tournaments? Like, how are new people like getting funneled into playing at a tournament?
Well, we've had quite a lot of newcomers come in. I've been outreaching just through friends and word of mouth, but we're actually discussing amongst ourselves different ways to advertise. We've had a good number just finding out through different universities and tournaments that are held at universities. So it's through smaller, less competitive tournaments we'll branch out, find people that are interested in the game and encourage them to come along to the friendlies or the tournaments that follow up.
Okay, cool. So it seems like you guys have a weekly Smash Fest that happens and like a weekly tournament, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as you keep those consistent, then I think that's just like really solid, and I think those are the main things you build up of, and just remembering the 5-star concept of like, and just encourage everybody to be a part of it. And like, if people are kind of like disagreeing, like I know in certain communities, like top players are really standoffish, and they just ignore everybody else. They go like, I'm gonna play my tournament, and then just dip and not hang out with anybody. I'm not sure if that's the case for you guys, but it's just really important that everybody knows that they are important in growing the community.
Yeah, I'll make sure to tell them.
Yeah. Let's see. And then at the tournament, this is something that in particular NorCal's really good at. From my experiences, like people like Phil, Homemade Waffles, Dewan or Shroomed and a bunch of other people, they like go out of their way to meet new people, even though they're these like big quote unquote like figures in the community. Like they will go to a tournament and they will like shake hands and say, I'm Phil, nice to meet you, like what brought you here. And so I thought that was really cool, and so just in determined, just encourage people to meet other people, build up a welcoming environment. Encourage outside activities too. A lot of the people in SoCal, they actually do things on their own that are not Smash related, and then encourage people like that are new to connect with other people within their local area that they don't have to travel far, so that they have Smash partners to practice with regularly. And then also, like, if there's negative behavior, you don't want to be like a police, but you want to kind of change the social environment too, because what happens with the top players and figureheads kind of trickles down. So if one person's like extremely toxic and they complain about like, oh, I shouldn't have lost, that player's not that good, I can't believe it, try to like kind of change the conversation in a way it's a little bit more positive. Because like what happens is if like two top players do that kind of complaining after they lose and they never give credit to their opponent for winning, then that's what the noobs will do. They'll be like, oh, like my opponent sucked, I can't believe I lost, and they just complain.
Yeah.
So those are like those are kind of the things that I've noticed that like kind of help. A bunch of other stuff. So just my general advice. And for
that's good to see.
And for movement drills, so I think this is still like really important. And I'm not sure if you have 20XX. I think that's the next investment that we need to look into. Do you?
Yeah, got access to it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over different things. So first of all, we want to work with infinite shields, and there's like a bunch of different things. So we're gonna just talk about infinite shields, and this will be our ultimate thing about just practicing just like hitting a shield repeatedly and practicing L cancels. So this is just generally good about practicing L cancels and shuffles. So this will be our one thing. I'm not sure if are you already doing this?
Yeah, most of the time it's using either the CPU just shield grabs out of shield with infinite shield, and then like do 15 minutes of that, and then 15 minutes of a random option like Nair out of shield or Bowser up B's out of shield, etc.
Okay, that's really good. Do you notice it like helps you a lot when you do that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm practicing a lot, and I'm getting better at practice. I'm not yet at the point where it's coming to fruition mid game when I'm playing friendlies or when I'm playing in tournament, but it's getting better, and I know it'll eventually cross over.
Okay. So for the people in the stream, there is actually a feature within 20XX where you can put on an infinite shield, and when you start pressure on them, you can add in a second option of near auto shield or shield grab when the shield is no longer and hits in stun. And then also, I think this is like one of the most important things, especially for you, given where you're at with your movement.
Yeah, green weight stand on. I've been using that constantly.
So even in your friendlies, I would actually recommend that you like. Actually, this is like just like helpful in general for like a bunch of new people. So if a bunch of new people are coming, I would actually bring this mod over to like a station, to a friendly station, and say like, hey, we're gonna, and just like tell them like if you can move and you're not, then the green overlay will come on, and I think this will be really important. This is really important for you.
Yeah.
So try to put it in as many friendlies as you can, so that you can train yourself to just move faster between movement. L cancel flash red, I think, is also a very important one. Where if you miss an L cancel, your character turns red, and that's like one thing I'm still noticing. I'm not sure if it improved over the last week. I know that you gave me matches from over a week ago, but that's something where I noticed that you are pressing shield, or like shields coming out when you land. Still.
What I've noticed is that when I'm playing practice or friendlies, I tend to do the light press, so you're not hitting the digital. Yeah. But all that gets forgotten in tournament, and I'm hitting the shield as hard as possible and end up getting stuck shielding even briefly. The main one's when I drill and go for a grab. Sometimes I will just use direction and grab. And if I miss that, then I will light shield immediately after drilling. But I've started jump cancelling it now, and it's more consistent.
Nice. So you have the single movement, and I think I noticed it got a little bit better. Where you like just like doing one shuffle is good.
Yeah.
So continue just thinking of boxing drills where you're doing like multiple things, like you're doing like aerial into like jab, aerial into dash, aerial into wave dash, or aerial into another aerial, or aerial shine aerial. Like think of compound movements and practice that repeatedly, because that's like the next step of Fox.
Yeah.
And as for friendlies, so still homework goals are still roughly the same, based on what I've noticed. But I would also like you to start practicing, especially in friendlies, implementing shield pressure. And this is something
Right.
that's going to be really nerve-wracking, because like there are so many ways to mess up.
Mess it up and die. Yeah.
But it's important. It's an important skill, just as with other characters. You know, when I taught Zero to Hero for Sheik and Marth, you know,
Yeah.
zoning is important, and like I tried to practice the stage control, and we'll go over that. But it's important just as much as knowing those concepts of like stage control and like controlling your opponent, also to be able to do the shield pressure, because you can get your opponent cornered, but if you don't have the power of the shield pressure, then your corner position isn't as good, because like they know that you can't pressure their shield, then they like can get
Yeah.
away with a lot more. So that's like thing that you need to be constantly practicing, is just how to do good shield pressure.
Yeah, I'd say I've started, but it's only my practice just now has been 45 minutes of movement, shuffling, and so on. Anything after that, if I've got extra time in the day, that's when I'll start practicing things uh, like late near shine, JC grab out of the shine, stuff like that. I've not been putting a lot of time into it, but it's things like that I want to move on to next, as well as the movement. So when I've got 3 hours as opposed to 45 minutes to practice, I've got other things that I'm looking to move on to.
All right, so I'll give you some things. So we'll start with things that come off of drill. So drill, shine, aerial, which is a drill and shine. And then if you can do that consistently, then drill, shine, aerial. Drill, aerial, drill, like drill, aerial, and then we'll do drill, shine, grab. And then if drill, dash away. So these are things that just come off of a drill, jab. So these all have kind of different scenarios. So drill, shine is, you know, your bread and butter off of drill. But sometimes, you know, if they at SDI, you have to be able to recognize that on hit confirm and
Yeah.
do like an aerial or an up tilt or a jab. Because what happens, and this happens with a lot of foxes, and this is a little bit more advanced. In general, like really good, like when you, and we'll go over like the kind of precise spacing of drill. Like sometimes, you know, if they SDI and read which side you're coming from, then they can SDI it, and then they will down smash you or grab you.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that a lot just now because I'll have already committed in my head to drill shine.
Yeah.
They'll have SDI'd out of it. I'll be stuck in shine, about to jump out of it, and they've already grabbed me by that point.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's one thing we need to recognize. So in Street Fighter V, so I'm playing a little bit of Street Fighter V, and I come from Street Fighter 4, and Street Fighter 4 has something called like block strings, where like
Yeah.
I could do, you know, multiple jabs into like medium punch into like roundhouse, or like medium kick, and it's like a safe jab string. Well, you have to like drill into your head, because in Street Fighter 5, like jab strings aren't or block strings aren't as safe. So you have to make the assumption here that drill into shine is not a guaranteed string.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not frame positive.
Yeah, and especially if they SDI, then like your later hits may not even hit your drill. So that's one thing that's a really good observation that you've noticed. So I'm glad you noticed that. But there's different things. So drill, shine, I'll rock through it. So drill through shine is like one of the basic bread and butters. Drill, shine into aerial. I like to do this. And you can do like shine, aerial, shine if you're like really good. Although that's like really hard to do consistently. Is that if I know I didn't get the hit confirmed, then I could do drill, shine, like runaway back air, nick their shield, and then get away from getting shield grabbed. Or if I want to pressure their shield further, then I could do drill, shine, aerial, shine. But that's like really hard to do because you have to time it in a way that you're not gonna get nared. Drill, shine, grab. So if you confirm a shield and you don't hit, and they're gonna just stay in shield and not spam nair out of shield, or they don't have a good nair out of shield option, then you can do this and it's pretty good. Drill aerial. In this case, it's like if they SDI'd you, then and they want to spam a down smash or a shield grab, then drill aerial counters that.
Yeah.
Drill dash away. Like if you're like drilling and you're like, oh crap, like, but you feel like they're gonna shield, or they're like, let's say they don't have a really good near out of shield, but they want to spam something. That isn't fast, and drill dash away into bait is actually like really good because you're flexible on covering rolls, and if you dash away, you can potentially react to a jump and like back air them.
Yeah.
Drill jab is an interesting one, and drill up tilt. This is like really specific to like higher percents usually.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've been practicing. Look, I've been practicing on floaties. Like I'll take puff at like 60% in practice mode, and look, it starts off, I'm just doing 15 minutes of up throw up smash, which I can't hit for the life of me. But then I'll start doing things like first hit of up air into up tilt, drill up tilt, and so on at kill percents, just to try and get my hands ready to do it.
Yeah. Why did it grow bigger? And then, so those are the things off the drill. And then if there's stuff off of Nair that is applicable, Nair Shine, is always important. Nair, Shine, Aerial. Like doing late Nair and early Nair are different things. So you have to learn the way of, like, there's a certain timing window where you can beat Nair out of shield, and this is something that you want to experiment a lot with 20XX, is that if you do your Shine into like late early aerial, like it beats Nair out of shield. So you need to learning the timing to beat Nair out of shield, like especially from Sheik and Peach, is actually like one of the most important things. Like if you can't, or Shine out of shield from Falco and Foxes, like if you can't beat that, then those matchups become really hard. Because you'll have an advantage position, but if they know that they can always beat you when you're shield pressuring them in a position that you're supposed to be winning in, then like those matchups become borderline unwinnable.
Yeah.
Nair. What else is there? Nair into another aerial. Like pretty much the same as the other stuff that we went over with drill. General principles here. Nair is actually really risky against floaties. Even Ganon can crotch cancel you, and he can grab you out of Nair Shine. So it's Nair is actually a pretty risky move, but a lot of people like spamming it because it's like so fast, and like against like lower level players it works so well. But Nair, especially when your opponent's like low percent, is very risky. But we'll talk more about the logic of it. I just want you to just make sure that you can do these on command.
Yeah.
Anyway, any questions?
Not so far. Continue.
All right, cool. We're actually going to look over some of your matches then, in that case.
Oh, no. Disaster.
So which matches do you want to look at in particular?
Can you find one that's not me?
No, we have to look at you.
Right. Any of them, go ahead.
Okay, well, we have you versus Karhu. Who's that?
Oh, that's a legend. Oh, he's a Scottish myth. He's an absolute monster of a man, bodybuilder. Shoutouts to Karhu, Rasmus. Yeah, he's a swell guy. He's actually newer than myself, but he's actually been playing his main longer than I've been playing Fox.
Okay. Gotcha. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it fine.
Okay, cool. And you can see...
Yeah, the overlay.
Okay, cool. Did you just shield drop?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a bad habit. I'm doing it because I want to rather than because it's good.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Like, getting used to the movement is important.
Yeah.
Let's see. This cord is, like, all tangled from my headphones. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I forgot that Marth gets tumbled on Shine.
Yeah. some get knocked down, some push back further, and so on. Tech chase.
Oh, DI.
Yeah, it's been terrible. Like the past two tournaments.
Oh
But
no.
I've just been not thinking about it at all. I'm confident I'll lose like 8 stocks in this set just to really bad DI.
I see. Does drill grab work in pretty well against Marth here? I'm trying to figure out because drill shine actually like tumbling Marth like that in PAL. I just forgot that is like seems really bad for Fox.
Yeah, it's difficult to react to the the get up attacks or like tech roll away.
Yeah. So in that case, what we have to do here is learn how to shine quickly and to dash forward, so that
Yeah,
you have position to react to like the tumble tech chase scenario.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's all I can do.
Yeah. So like you're moving a lot better when you're in super neutral. Yeah. So in this case, let's see. So in this case, like being able to like get out of that shine quicker is something that would be really nice.
Yeah, look, it's I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but when I shine, I tend to like whilst I'm holding down, I'll roll it to the corner that I want to wave dash with, and it seems to be successful then. But sometimes I'll let the analog go to neutral and then try and wave dash out, and it doesn't seem to work as effectively. And I don't know if it's there's some nuance to it that I'm not nailing.
Maybe you're jumping too early.
Yeah,
Um, so I think the key thing and the most confusing thing about wave dash overall is just the jump, because what happens is if you don't wave dash, then sometimes what happens is just the jump just doesn't come. The wave dash, if you jump too early, the wave dash doesn't happen. And you just get stuck.
yeah,
So
right,
sometimes,
okay,
what I'm thinking is happening is you may be pressing jump too early, and that's why it's not registering. So like, there's a slight delay, and especially if you want to turn around wave dash or like do the backwards one or turn around wave shine, like you have to. There's a slight delay in when you press jump and shine.
right.
Yeah, so that might be the reason. That's what I'm assuming based on what I'm seeing here.
I'll I'll go into practice and do it in slow mo and find out exactly what I'm getting wrong.
All right, let's see. Yeah. A lot of it's like you're getting. I mean,
Stuck.
you're drilling in a way that it's like putting Marth not in a good spot, which is good. But um, after that, you're not capitalizing, and that's where I think being more comfortable with shield pressure drills is gonna help you a lot. And that's like one of the things that is actually hurting you right now in this match.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this is you get the drill on a shield, which is or like you even hit him and it's good, but then you miss the L cancel or you miss the movement after.
Yeah.
Ah,
Should have just grabbed. Yeah.
does it get frustrating when you're like missing these?
Say again?
Does it get frustrating missing those?
Yeah, I try not to get frustrated at all, which is, I think, mostly why I'm not thinking about my decisions. I'm just concentrating on playing and doing things on impulse rather than focusing on what's happened previously.
Yeah,
I've not went in with a plan to any of the matchups or games. I've not thought, what am I doing after I get this hit? It's always been like a fist fight.
I see. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, So the main thing, I mean, there's like a bunch of other things that we could talk about that's probably not going right for you that would get punished by better players. But I think the main thing I want to focus on is this. So first, I've been hampering it. It's just like the fact that it's hard for you to move after like doing the first hit.
Yeah.
And then I know you're full hopping a lot, which like works as a certain counterplay to Marth in certain situations, but that becomes really risky. So
Yeah, especially when you're playing against fast followers.
yeah,
It's just a bad habit to get into. I think it's because in friendlies I was playing against Carhu specifically, and my short hop approaches, they just like down tilt, F tilt, and punish me for it. So I got too much reward from like full hop, shine to bait something out, and then jumping out of it and then approaching them, sort of thing.
yeah. So one thing that we could do as an experiment, and because like short hop approaches like are really hard, like it's one of the hardest things to do as Fox, especially against a person that can react and play fairly defensive. So like, but then it's an important skill to learn, and we can talk about overshooting and undershooting like in another lesson. But try to practice on like solid ground movement, where because when you're running around and trying to close the gap, what a Mutaking type player will do is as soon as they see you full hop into them, they will dash dance grab you and kill you.
Yeah.
So we need to learn the movement from the ground up and notice like when Mart's timing windows like allow you to just jump in and kick him. But that's something that's like really hard to do. But that's something that you want to also begin practicing, even if you're going to get killed a lot for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you short hop there, and you got away with it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is specifically. There are certain points where I think to myself that we're not going to get anything out of a short hop approach, which is stupid. Like, I can catch him when he's dashing back. There's so much I can do.
Yeah.
But I've been hurt too many times, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just general scrubby play at this point in time. I'm not doing anything that's had any thought behind it.
I see. So if you notice in this match, like Karhu, your opponent, is starting to do a lot of up tilts, so he's now aware that you're going to be full hopping a lot.
Yeah, and there's no adjustment being made. It's just I continue to do the same thing over and over again, which is stupid. The definition of madness.
So yeah. Oh no. So yeah, I think for now, I mean, there's many other things that could get better, but shield pressure and
movement, still movement,
and
lots
just
of
mostly movement are probably the things that I would look at most. And if you want to run another drill, I would say try to practice without full hopping.
Yeah.
I think that will help you think of ways to dash in and to approach from the ground, because jumping excessively in general's Fox is not a winning formula, especially like if you're jumping in a way that they can reposition themselves.
Yeah, just catch me with my double jump and I'm dead.
Yeah. Alright, so that's like what I gathered from that set. And then we also have you versus Magic, a Falco player. So in this case, unfortunately, due to how lasers work, you're gonna have to jump a lot.
Yeah, it's different approaches for different matchups.
Alrighty. No. This is so janky.
Yeah. It's like when you give a child exclusively the C-stick and nothing else. They don't have the rest of the control.
So one thing I noticed actually, and this is kind of a thing that I just want to point out, is that you're not pressing certain advantages as much as you could, and I'm gonna explain. So here, you got Falco in a pin down situation where, like, realistically, the only thing he can really do is roll, or really get up attack, but pretty much like the capability of him like hitting you, like,
Yeah,
is really small. And instead of going in, you end up jumping to the left and giving him it, and then not only that, but you dash dance here, and you allow him to get up and regain stage.
yeah. I've not played any form of like chase down at all. It's more been get a hit, leave them alone to get another hit
Yeah, like,
sort of
so,
thing.
like, just a few seconds later, what happens is, like, you could have like ran out and closed the gap, but, like, keep in mind, it's like when you play like a Nintendo boss and you cut off one of its limbs, and like they're all weak, and then you're just like, okay, I'm gonna run away. Even then, that's like where
Yeah,
you're supposed to be doing the damage. And with Falco, as um, like, you get them access to lasers again, and now you have to work all over again to like get a good position for neutral.
yeah. I think at one point, I don't know if it's the other video of Carhu I sent you. A perfect example of this is I up throw him and I can't up throw up air him, and so he's been counting every time. And I know it's going to happen, but I still shield right in front of his counter. I don't up smash out of shield after he's finished it. I just wait to get grabbed out of it. It's those sorts of things.
I see.
I'm not thinking about what the opponent is doing. I'm not even thinking. I'll be brutally honest.
I see. And it's largely because a lot of it's you're still thinking about the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it seems pretty good. A lot of this stock was earned because you were in his face and
Yeah.
not getting shined. Ooh, a shine on a shield. Nice.
It's not frame perfect yet, but I do spend 5-10 minutes a day on it.
Okay. So even here, I think it's just like a knowledge of ranges, right? Like, there's no reason why you should be running away.
Run
Like,
away. Yeah. I should be on that platform prepping a back here.
yeah. So a lot of that will get better as you get more familiar, but at the same time, a lot of things that you could do is just like, what's the maximum range here, and like, how can I just like kind of just go outside that range and then just beat it with my own hit.
Yeah.
Because because that's like a lot of the advantage of like closing the gap is just being able to maximize like how close you can get without really getting hit. PPMD is really good at this. Like, if you watch his Marth, for example, like, he knows exactly like how close he can get or like how much space he can give. So if you like watch his dash dance, especially, like, that's like, if you just like watch him from that mindset, a lot of his movement actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I'd say at the moment I'm just prioritizing safety over actually hitting anyone or trying to kill them.
Aw.
So bad.
Aw. And the reason why we want to be close is that if we find them out of position or they mess up and lag, then we have the best opportunity to hit them and punish them for it. As opposed to if they're further away, then we need a lot more time to punish.
Sloppy.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, just like kind of just sloppy skirmishes right now. But
yeah, bad recoveries.
You're thirsty for grabs.
Yeah. I've been trying to get myself to go for them more rather than just shining out all the time.
That's the Mewtwo King neutral. All right.
Yeah.
Shine. Ah.
Yeah. I knew what I wanted, I just didn't actually go for it.
Yeah. So I think that's like one other thing like we can pick out on. And this will set up better position. And I think it's like one of the most fixable things in neutral. So I'll just say it. All right. So here, he's pinned down. Like realistically, what's his best hitbox that can hit you? Like he can't hit you all the way here, right? He doesn't have a magic hitbox, and so just like running closer and making him like putting him in a really awful spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you caught his nair, but like you could have, and that did end up kind of working out for you. But like just being able to close the gap, like and recognizing when you can is really important.
Yeah, I've not been paying attention enough to like, the characters in general and where their hitboxes are, where they can hit me from. I've not been thinking about that sort of stuff.
Right. Did you just shield her up backer? Damn.
Possibly.
Damn. That was pretty good. Let's see. So I'm just curious, actually. Like, when like Falco's like above like a certain percent, like I do believe that you have up throw up smash open to you. Is there a reason why you're not doing it?
It's I've tried it a few times and not got it, so I think I've been slower. I've been charging it too long, and I've just been going for other options.
I see.
Obviously,
Can
I'll find the times that it's going to be good and then continue to do it. But
can't you just like press the C stick?
yeah, I know exactly. Um, I think it's because versus certain people, they'll jump out to the left or right with their DI on the throw, and I'm not used to people not DIing the throw.
I see.
Although even then, I can just run after them and get a JC grab or a JC up smash.
Yeah. I see. Sloppy skirmishes.
Yeah, it's slobber knocker. Some Patterson.
Yeah. So I just see a lot of like missed opportunities after the shine where like you could take more advantage. But yeah, other than that, I'm probably like repeating myself over and over again. So, but I don't want to like overwhelm you. So yeah, two things. We need to get better at shield pressure and L canceling and moving after the first hit, and like closing the gap on advantages that we see. So those are like the main things that like I would drill into you just for like the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Inception. Let's see. So I guess homework for you. Continue.
Good.
Well, like the movement is like one of the most painful things to learn in this game, and I wish it was like a little bit easier. Alright, so continue to practice at shuffle. I think that's so important. Implement shield pressure in games and practice it, and then close the gap in pin down situations will help you. And I think if you focus on these three things, and also like as a bonus, no full hop games.
Yeah.
I think if we practice these four things and emphasize these over the next couple of weeks, I think we'll get a lot out of it. Unfortunately, like the movement is like the bottleneck for your improvement right now. And as like we feel more comfortable, then we'll talk about more like neutral game principles, and work from there. But the neutral game principles kind of fall apart if you can't execute on advantages. So we got to maximize this. Do you have anything else? Any other questions?
I probably will do, but not off the top of my head. When I'm practicing and going through, like, as an example day, I'll say I've got 45 minutes. I'll be like 15 minutes of the normal practice, 10 minutes of three ice climbers, 10 minutes Bowser, and then I'll like just work on general movement like dash dancing and wave dashing and so on. Is there any other exercises that you could think of?
Um, this is kind of like a theory craft one.
Uh-huh.
Um, I actually been like thinking about this a lot myself. Um, it's like a kind of like a riddle problem solving kind of thing. Let me
Yeah.
find like a good picture of. I'm trying to think of like if you're really far away from your opponent. Let's see. I'm gonna try to find a screen grab that would emphasize this. Okay, that's good. Um, when you're like in different positions, right? Like let's
Hmm.
say you're edge guarding or you're coming up, right? Let's say you were here. Um, like, what's the fastest movement combination to get here and hit a hitbox?
Uh, Waveland onto the flaming house and then do a back air off of that.
Yeah,
Or shine turn around back air.
yeah,
Probably,
yeah.
maybe.
Um, so like, there's like many things that could work, but this will help you think about like distances and could like what hitbox do I need to throw out there?
Yeah,
So I think about like different like okay if like I'm here and like let's say like you're here and like a falcon just falcon punch from here, right? Like what is like the fastest way that I can guarantee a hit? Like so stuff like that you should be thinking about. It's like okay like they're here like what's the fastest way I can get a hit? What's the best hitbox that I could get or what's the best movement into like a hitbox that will like get me that hit?
yeah,
So that's like one thing that I've been thinking about lately because like as Sheik, like I need to be able to cover Fox's movement quicker, especially when they make mistakes. And I find that I'm not like going to spots that I want fast enough. Alternatively, practicing like grounded movement with like targets. So like if you're here, right, and you need to hit this spot, right, like implement a series of movements that can let you like hit that spot cleanly, and then you just keep work finding like oh I want to target this spot. It's like okay like jump like near here like because you need to also not just be able to L cancel but you need to also be able to just hit the
use
exact
them in the
spot
right
you want.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hit the right spot because if you overshoot or undershoot, you know, ever so slightly, that's the difference between you like starting a drill shine into like a combo into a kill and you getting down smashed into KO'd.
yeah,
So, um, so just like pick imaginary spots horizontally also, and just like say like, can I hit that spot consistently? Like if I'm running or if I'm dashing or if I'm still stationary, can I hit those spots? I think that's like also like really important as Fox. So like if I'm here, like can I comfortably like if I just pick a random spot and say can I drill easily to that spot? Is that possible? Can I
yeah,
run? Can I run and drill this? Can I dash dance once into drill this spot?
yeah. You said you were a Street Fighter 4 player. What I think could be helpful if what there was a the practice room. It's got the grid, and uh, it's like graph paper. It's squared off.
Yeah,
Like uh, like you'd use that for footsies and gauging distances and stuff like that. Maybe ideally there'd be a 20xx like skin overlay for the stages where it would have that on it. But even just picking points on like maps, like the different uh, like sections on the stage, like the only reason I say is because when I'm dash dancing on Yoshi's, I use the circle that's in the center, or
oh yeah,
if I'm on FD, it's like you've got the zigzags at the front and back of the stage, and use those as this is the point I need to hit, and focusing on stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, those are good references. I think Pokemon Stadium, especially on when it's not transformed, is actually pretty good because it has like the center Pokeball, and it has the lines,
Yeah,
and so you can use those as reference for those. I'm trying to think of other examples. I mean, you could use the platforms as reference for like the other stages as like more extra
yeah,
distances, and I think those are good indicators. FD is a little bit tough because there's like not really many indicators I can think of.
yeah. It's just the patterns at the foreground and background.
Um, so
Uh,
So yeah, that's like another drill that I'd recommend is like being able to hit particular horizontal distances is very important as Fox. And it can be very frustrating because you can like drift ever so slightly wrong and die as a result.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Any other thing before we close out?
As far as different options are concerned, are there any that I should stray away from? What I've found myself doing because I like doing it is falling first hit of up air and up tilt, for example. I just find that fun to do. I don't do it regularly, but when I do it, I enjoy it. Is there anything that I should stray away from or focus on more? Like drill it into X in up air, like falling up air into X tends to take the forefront.
Um, I think one of the main things is just like not autopiloting. Like our example of like the drill, for example, like drill into shine isn't always gonna be like a guaranteed string. It's always like being proactive. I'd like to think of it as being proactive to what the situation calls for, and thinking of it as like, oh, I must drill shine. But no, it's like, oh, okay, like he's higher percent, he can SDI, so drill shine may not be good. And everything is so situational in this game that I can't always say like X is always better than Y. And I think that's like actually the wrong mindset to go about it. It's going to always be about reading the situation and then just seeing what tool is applicable to the situation that's at hand. Whether it's the percentages that are in play, stage position, characters, opponents' habits. Will help you dictate an answer as opposed to me saying like, oh, you should always do X instead of Y.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
It's picking the right option for the right situation. I was meaning in terms of practice exclusively.
I mean, I think the short hop is probably one of the big things.
Yeah,
Practicing short hop related approaches as opposed to like just defaulting to full hop,
yeah,
and just making sure that all your options are in your toolkit, and that's why like I have a list as opposed to one. I would say just do all of them, but as you're doing it, just think about like where like this particular tool is better than the other one, and if you could like figure that out for yourself, then your decision making will become a lot better.
yeah. Find out when I should do it after knowing how to do it, and then think about why I'm doing it and so on.
Yeah.
Just modular.
Yes. And so yeah, I think that's like pretty much it because like the game is so complex and it has so many options, and like by robbing yourself into like one or two actually hurts you more than like knowing like the 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, because like you're gonna need different things for different combinations. Like the reason why I say that is because like there might be an option that like a fourth option that covers their two options better than the default options, and so it's like kind of weird like in terms of like skewing like what do I need to cover and all that stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yes, indeed.
Battle of the Five Gods is in about half an hour.
Indeed. My boy Wobbles pulling through, clutching out some good games.
Yeah. So it's good, and so yeah, that ends episode 2, and we'll probably meet in like another 2 weeks, give or take.
Yeah,
Hopefully we get more matches.
indeed.